What's going on, Trojan family? Ryan Dyer here with the USC LAFB show. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with me. As promised earlier, wanted to jump on with a little recruiting update. Not like a ton of intel or anything, but with the Trojans on the bye, coaches were able to hit the road and visit some players, visit some games last night, Friday night, and kind of take in, different film watching, and also, that keep that relationship strong with some of these players. Some obviously in the 26 class, just keeping the relationship building, but also going after some more, 27 and 28 class kids. As I don't know if it's surprising, but USC doesn't have a 2027 commit yet. It was around this time last year. They already had a couple. I mean, there was a few guys that committed really early in the 25 class, but it was around this time that they started getting a couple 26 kids to commit. Not a lot. They didn't really go heavy until like the spring, obviously, and once Chad Bowden was here. But I assume we're going to start seeing a couple 27s commit. But I think part of that too, like I've said before, is actually USC's doing. It's going to be a much smaller class, so they have to be a lot more strategic, a little bit more picky, and kind of just can't offer, not that they were offering everybody in 26, but obviously when you're building a 35-person class, you can offer some of the kids that are more development kids. I think when you see some of these 3-stars, again, they're not just offering anybody. They believe that these guys can be starters, but they're more of the, hey, this is a guy that has the body we're looking for or has some tape we're looking for, but we're going to have to develop maybe a year or two away. Whereas the 27 class, because it's only going to be 15 to 18 kids, it's more of like, we need the entire 17 to be able to potentially be a day one impact. You're never expecting freshmen to have to be an impact, but as we're seeing this year, it's nice when you can have that, and it certainly helps your depth when you can have that. So a little bit more picky, but I do expect them to start getting some commitments here. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if by the end of the season they have like 3 or 4, and then they really, in the springtime, get that 10, 11 in the spring to commit. So plenty of time on that. I don't know if anyone is worried about that, but I certainly wouldn't be. Or I'm certainly not, I should say. Quickly, shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. USC LAFB is brought to you by our friends at Sleeper, #1 sports app today. Make sure to download the app, and when you make your first deposit, use our promo code USC LAFB. They're going to match your deposit up to $100. That's right, you get up to a $100 match bonus. Or if you just want to put in $10, they'll match you $10. When you go to play the daily fantasy or the daily pick'em, you get a mix and match, pick 2 to 8 players, just choose more or less, and you can win real money. Tons of fun, real easy to do. Not always real easy to win, a little more challenging, but hey, USC with a big game next week against Michigan. I think there'll be some fun lines you can play on with that. So check out Sleeper. Use our promo code USC LAFB. All right. So quickly, let's kind of go through it. Don't have stats on everyone from the evening, so I won't be able to run through all of that. A lot with these, I'm learning with these high school games, like a lot of them don't like get updated. Like you're kind of, someone on Twitter might that had a game is like, oh, here's a stat line. You got a graphic go out. But as great as Max Preps is, sometimes it's just impossible. There's just too many players, but you don't get updates for all these games. Like I think I was looking at Booby Feaster, and his last like stat update was from like early August, like the first game of the season or something. So don't have all the stat lines, but I do have some updates. So Jonas Williams, quarterback, 4-star, just last night broke the record for most touchdowns in the state of Illinois. 128 touchdowns he now has as the quarterback in the state of Illinois for this, this iteration, obviously playing for Lincoln Way East, who his squad is now 6-0 on the season. Got a big win last night, winning 45 to 23, I believe. Yep. I think so. So everything's not all perfect. So 6-0 in the season, 4-0 in league. So great year for his squad. But I mean, 128 touchdowns. That's not nothing. And this is a guy that I believe the way his season's going, will climb up the rankings where he's currently ranked on all sites, Rivals, 247, ESPN. I think he'll climb up there and finish as one of the top. I could see him finishing as a top 5 signal caller when it's all said and done. Maybe I'll do a breakdown next week of kind of the top 15 QBs and kind of where they've played so far this year. Maybe that'll provide some value. Just because I said it is kind of hard to find some of the stats out there. So I'll do some deep digging and talk to some people. And that could be actually a fun video and see where Jonas sits among his peers, among Ryder Lyons, among, the other quarterbacks in this class so far this season. But certainly have a fantastic year and obviously a fantastic high school career now, owning the record in the entire state of Illinois. But this is a kid that's going to fit so well in this offense. Like when you look at the Lincoln Riley quarterback, it's Jonas Williams to a T. Like you go down the line of who he's had as quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, I think, was a great fit. Way more athletic than people give him credit for. Doesn't have the arm talent that we've seen from some of his other quarterbacks, but he was able to run that system so well and really put Lincoln Riley on the map, obviously, with what Baker did, winning the Heisman and being first overall pick. Kyler Murray didn't have the height, but still facilitated that offense perfectly. Another number 1 overall pick. Jalen Hurts gets replaced by Tua Tagovailoa at Alabama. He transfers over to Oklahoma, runs the offense to a T. He probably isn't as he's definitely an athletic QB of course, but probably not quite as accurate as a passer or have the true breakaway speed as maybe like a Kyler, but he has certainly a lot of the same skill set as like Baker did. And then you get to USC. Obviously, we know about Caleb Williams, fantastic fit. And then this year, we're seeing it with Jade Maiava, who is definitely a different build. I'm pretty sure he's by far his tallest quarterback he's ever had at college. I don't know the measurements of Spencer Rattler off the top of my head, but I think Jade Maiava at 6'4" is certainly the tallest, but more athletic. I would say Maiava has probably the most arm talent, which is crazy to say of all the guys we've seen. But I think and I want to ask Lincoln this. I might ask him this in one of our next press conferences. And he doesn't like comparing guys in the past, but just kind of where he puts just Maiava's pure arm talent. But we've seen the offense go back to what we know in Lincoln Riley because of what Jade Maiava is able to do. Husong Longstreet at Centennial, unbelievable athlete, great with his legs. Obviously, great arm talent as well. Not quite as tall as Maiava. He looks small when he stands next to Maiava. But from the little bit we've seen in him, I think there's a ton of excitement about what this kid can do. And Jonas Williams is just to a T the next iteration. I mean, the deep ball he throws a beautiful deep ball that we've seen from Maiava. I think I saw it Husong Longstreet last year at Centennial. Obviously, we saw it with Caleb during his USC days. So Jonas Williams is someone that can really uncork it and is super accurate on those deep throws. Aside from that, how he's able to control the line of scrimmage, and then that true duality of not being a run-force quarterback, but absolutely has the athleticism, the speed, the quickness to burn you with his legs. And that's what makes this offense so dynamic, is when you have a quarterback that's cerebral enough to be able to read the defense, but also athletic enough to keep the defense honest, like, that's why it's such a dangerous offense. And this is no shade, or at least not attempting to be shade towards Miller Moss, but I think that's why we saw the offense take a step back. And part of it's just nothing Miller Moss could do. He just wasn't built kind of for this system, and they did the best they could, and there was still some success they were able to have and won some big games, obviously the season opener against LSU, and I think Miller did some good things in this offense. And I think he's more athletic than maybe some give him credit for, but I just don't think he was the true type of quarterback that fits well in this system. And obviously Lincoln Riley didn't recruit him. He inherited him, and they gave it, as they say, the old college try. And it just wasn't the perfect fit. Jonas Williams is going to be that fit. So super excited. But yeah, I'll try next week, guys, to do a breakdown of kind of the top 10, 15 or so quarterbacks in this 26 class so we can track where he ranks. Because, all and sometimes me even have to go off of is just what On3 or 247 says in their rankings. Like, oh, this guy's the 13th best quarterback, so that must be where he is. But let's look at what they're actually doing right now this season. Like, where do they stack up? we made jokes and lied about Bryson Beaver skyrocketing up the rivals rankings after committing to Oregon. And I haven't heard of anything about him through this season. I haven't looked, to be honest. Obviously, he's not with USC. But we'll just look at that. Where do guys compare? So hopefully I have interest in that. If no one does comment, so I don't waste my time. But I think that'll hopefully provide some good information for you. But yeah, coaches all over the place. Last night, Lincoln Riley and Chad Savage were at the modern-day Orange Lutheran game. Orange Lutheran, I think, is an improved program, but they're not quite there yet. The Trinity League. Modern Day was able to get that win to improve their record and keep their top standing. Trevon Reed was at the Sierra Canyon Sarah game. Sierra Canyon dominated, I think, 30-0. Obviously, Brandon Lockhart and Madden Riordan and Tron Baker all there. So Tron Reed obviously being able to see two secondary guys. And he's just such a relationship and in the recruiting regardless of position as well. So good to see him there. And Sierra Canyons, man, they're putting together a program as well. I think that's one of the rising stars in the high school circuit right now. We also, let's see here. I took some notes here. Chad Savage, aside from Modern Day, made his way down to San Diego as well to make some connections. Chase Denise, offensive lineman, is the USC commit from San Diego County, so I'm sure down to see him there and maybe keep some eyes on some other. We'll see if we hear any intel on any of that. Who else we got here? I saw that Coach Hansen was up north. I think his whole family went up there. I think I saw that on Instagram, I believe, from Annie Hansen, his wife. And someone I may have posted in a board as well, which, hey, we're still building our LAFB board. We need all of you guys to get over to our LAFB message board so we can start building that and just such an easy way to digest information there. But Hansen up north, I think he was at the De La Salle game, I believe. De La Salle got another win. Kind of that forgotten program that was so dominant, and they've still always been really good, but they're having a really nice season. So he was up there, up north, and I'll try to check in to see if there was anywhere else that he was able to visit. Let's see if there was any other notes I had. I believe Doug Belk was at the Bosco Palos Verdes game. Bosco dominated that game. Let me see what Joshua Holland, defensive back, is in that one. And Bosco, man, they are looking good. They are looking real good. Number one team in the country right now. Let me get back to where, sorry, I got all these notes and tabs open. They finished that game. Here we go, guys. Sorry. 70-21. I think I said Palos Verdes. I meant Bosco J. Serra is who they played. 70-21 victory in that one. So I believe that Doug Belk was in attendance for that game. He was at the Palos Verdes game, and this is my buddy Scott saying this, at Palos Verdes, and went and saw Bosco play Jay Serra. So, all over the place. So I think the big takeaway here is how many of these guys stayed local in California. I'm curious where Henny, I didn't see any reports on where Henny ended up. I'm sure he was out, I would think. Dennis Simmons was also with Trevon Reed at Sierra Canyon, obviously with Tron Baker, the receiver there. So that's a good connection there. I didn't see where Henny is. I'll try again. This is less than 24 hours to then, so some of this stuff comes out over the weekend. So if I hear anything else, I will let you guys know. But I think just such a good indication that the majority of these recruiting, and again, it's quick. Like, they're back to work probably on Sunday. USC's been doing Sunday night practices, so really just have Sunday traveling. But the majority of the guys staying in California, and this is what we've all been pounding the table for quite some time. Is for USC just to retake over California recruiting. And so they did that with this class. Obviously still got some heavy hitters outside of California, which you have to do. USC is a national brand, but making sure to keep the emphasis on California and keeping these guys home. And so on a bye week, able to do that and catching some great football that California has to offer with what did I think I said on the live this morning. Thank you all that joined me this morning for just a fun little live. But 6 of the top 25 teams in California. So pretty dominant high school ball, and a lot of others on the 25 that are still really good programs and have a lot of really talented kids. So good to see. So there you go. Quick little recruiting update. Any intel I get out of these visits, I will let you guys know. Absolutely. Scheduling update. So I kind of teased it last time, and thanks for anyone that gave feedback, but I am going to test out some midday live shows starting, I guess, this week, next week. Today's Saturday, so whatever you want to call it, starting in 2 days or so. We are also adding an additional call-in show. So we're trying to just give you 7 days a week programming. That's the goal here at USC LAFB. We've got LAFB editorial content on LAFBnetwork.com. Like I said, we're still building our forum and message boards so we can have really easy, digestible stuff. But we want video. I know that's the medium that I love, most people love. That's the future. We want to have 7 days a week programming for you. And I think we're close to having that. So we're going to have a Monday night call-in show, 7 p.m. with myself and Tim. I will be live. I think I'm going to test out noon, but we'll see. We'll play around with it. Tuesday at noon, live. Wednesday, 7 p.m. call-in show with Tim and the Madman. Thursday, noon, I will be live as well. And then we'll have a preview show up on Friday heading into Saturday's matchup. And then for away games, we're live Saturday right after the game. For home games, we are live just because we're all at the stadium. We are live Sunday morning for hopefully Victory Sunday. So pretty much 7 day a week programming for you on USC LAFB. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. You can become a member right here on the YouTube channel or on LAFBnetwork.com. Financially, that helps us out. I know everyone hates to talk about that, but it does. It helps us out a ton. Plus, we will be donating 20% of your membership every month to help youth sports right here in Los Angeles. You're helping us. You're helping kids. What more could you do? What more could you ask for? So thank you all. I already talked longer than I was supposed to, as usual. But thank you all for hanging out. And as always, fight on.